Hello. We're going to do 4.3 day 2, still solving quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. Let's put the date. Friday, May 8th. If as we're moving through Unit 4, you're having difficulties that you cannot solve, make sure that you are emailing me. I will either email you back and post answers for everybody to see to questions that are assigned, or I will put together a video explaining the question solution as we go. All right. Our goal today: identify when to use the quadratic formula in a word problem. A quadratic formula only finds x when y equals 0. Okay? The quadratic formula does not find the y max or y min. Only vertex form, okay, finds the y max or y min. Okay, that's extremely important. Okay, this is very important. So if you have a highlighter or something colorful to outline or to put a bubble around this, you need to. Note number 1, when given a y value, the quadratic formula will find your x value. But you must move everything to one side. So y equals 0, okay? Example 1. A rectangular field has an area described by this equation. It's given to you, where f at x represents the area of the field in meters squared and x represents the width in meters. Using the guess method, determine the width of the field if you want an area of 575 meters squared. Round to 1 decimal place if necessary. Okay, we're going to use the guess method, okay? So we're going to use the guess method. So in doing so, G is what's been given. Okay, what did they give us? They said that a rectangular field has an area described by this equation. Okay, so the area is described by f at x equals x 50 minus x, okay? Where f at x represents the area of the field in meters squared. So this f at x, okay? So where f at x represents the area of the field, f at x equals area, okay? So this piece right here, that's the area. Okay, it's an area. It could have a value. Right now it doesn't, but it can. Okay, so where f at x is the area, and then it's in meters squared. Okay, x represents the width in meters, where x is equal to the width in meters. Okay, you're not using area equals length times width. They've already given you the formula for the area. They've done all that work for you, okay? All right, using the guess method. Determine the width. So determine is the verb, which tells you what the unknown is, okay? So GU is the unknown. Determine the width of the field, okay? So the unknown, determine the width. Okay? If I want to know the width, what is it that I'm being asked to find? I need a variable because we're in math, right? So it's not like looking at a picture and seeing it. It's got to be a variable. Well, width, okay, width is representing x. So if I want to know what the width is, I want to know what x is. It says, determine the width of the field if you want an area of 575 meters squared. Okay, so when area is 575 meters squared. Well, what is the area? The area is f at x. Okay? So when the area is equal to this, which is equal to f at x, okay? These are very important steps. These are the crucial steps that get you going in the question, okay? All right, so GU, round to one decimal place. So that's maybe one thing, round to one decimal place, if necessary. Okay, so we might want to write that down so we don't forget. Okay, GUE. So it doesn't ask us anything else. GUE equation. What is our equation? We're going to use f at x equals x bracket 50 minus x. Okay, S is the solution. Now, before we go on, we might want to pause and we might want to ask ourselves if we want to find the unknown, right? Determine the width. We need to say to ourselves, note to self, to find, I'm going to put it in capitals, to find x, okay? Move everything to one side. Okay? And solve for x. Okay? How do I solve for x? Using the quadratic formula. So if you miss these steps, right, you're not really giving yourself an opportunity to be successful. Okay? Okay, so the solution. Oh, so E is the equation. In guess, GUE, E is the equation, S is the solution. Okay, so we're going to use everything in the G, the U, the E. We're going to use the given info, the unknown value, and the equation. So we're going to, in our solution space, all of these three pieces of the word problem, okay, parts, values, information, okay, are going to be used in the solution space. So we're going to use the f at x is equal to x 50 minus x. Okay, so what else are we supposed to be able to use? It says determine the width. Okay, so we want to find x. Okay, area is 575 meters squared, and that's f at x. So if we are given using area of 575 meters squared, so that therefore f at x is 575 meters squared. Well, we're going to sub that value into f at x. So 575 equals x bracket 50 minus x. Now, to solve for x, okay, to solve for x, move everything to one side. Okay, so let's do that. We don't have something multiply it out here, so let's do that. We can't figure out which side we want to move things to until we do that. So x times 50 is 50x. X times negative x squared, or sorry, x times negative x is negative x squared. Now, we said in an earlier lesson that if this was negative, we wanted to deal with that, right? We didn't want to keep using that. So let's move everything to this side. So the negative x squared becomes positive x squared. The negative 50x becomes, sorry, the positive 50x becomes negative 50x. And this 575 stays on that side, so it's 575 equals 0. Okay, so we've moved everything to one side. Now, we are also allowed, if we want to try, we can try to factor, okay? But I don't know, I mean, you know, do you want to find what multiplies to 575? I mean, that's a fairly large number. So, we'll solve for x. Using the quadratic formula. Okay. All right. Good. All right. So we need the y equals ax squared plus bx plus c to use this. So we've got, oh, that's going to be y. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. A in this case is 1. B is negative 50. And c is 575. So we're going to sub A equals 1. B equals negative 50. C equals 575 into, not y, x equals negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. All right. So b is negative in the formula, but it's also negative in as a value, so it's going to be a double negative. I had lots of double negatives. Plus or minus b squared. B is negative, so the negative and the 50 have to be squared. Minus 4 times a, which is 1. I'm going to put a times there to tell myself I'm timesing. Times c, which is 575. Divided by 2 times a, which is 1. Okay, so x is equal to, double negative becomes positive, so positive 50. I don't really need to write that. If I really need to or want to, I can. Negative 50 squared. Now, you have to square the negative. So if you're not sure, bracket 50 negative bracket, and then where's my squared? Oh, there it is. 2500. Okay. Now this is negative 4 times 1 times 575. So 4, which is negative, times 1 times 575 is equal to negative 2300, all divided by 2. Okay. Subtract that. That's going to be 200. X is equal to 50 plus or minus the square root of 200, all divided by 2. Now, this has to be done first before you can divide by 2. But remember, when we have a plus minus, that means that I have 2 possible roots. Okay, so root 1 can be x equals 50 plus the square root of 200. $14.1421, 14.1421, blah, 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 divided by 2. Put brackets to show that I'm going to do the numerator first. And then this is x equals 50 minus the square root of 200. 14.1421, blah, 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 divided by 2. Put brackets around that to show that I'm going to subtract before I do division. Okay, you always have to simplify your numerator before dividing by the denominator. Okay, so let's work on this side here. Okay. So 50 plus 14 point blah 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 is 64.1421 blah 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 divided by 2. X equals 32.07 blah blah blah. We set to round to 1 decimal. So X is equal to 32.1 meters. And that's width. Right? Okay, or 50 minus 14.1421 equals X is equal to 35.8579 blah 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 divided by 2. X is equal to 17.928 blah blah blah. We're still rounding to 1 decimal place. X is equal to approximately 17.9, and that's our width. Okay, so the last S is guess, or sorry, the last S is solution. You still see here? Okay, so the solution, or goodness, the sentence, my goodness. Okay, therefore the width of 32.1 meters and 17.9 meters is possible with an area of 575 meters squared. What does that mean in the context of the question? Well, 17.9 is an X value. 32.1 is an X value. It means that when the parabola comes up to this point, this Y value will be 575 meters squared here and here. So it will mean the parabola comes up like this and down like this. So at the 2 widths, it will both have a height, in terms of parabola, it will both have a height of 575 meters because we're talking about width influencing area on a parabola. Okay, now it's your turn to try your best.